I'm Spencer.
And I'm Steve.
And this is our Stranger Things Season 2 recap, episode number 2, Trick or Treat Freak. And we're doing it in 11 minutes. Time starts now.
It is Halloween in Hawkins, y'all.
Wow, like that was a great episode.
Man, seeing 11 again, I feel home. So this episode picks up right where season 1 ends. 11 just defeated the Demogorgon. She vanished, and we find out that she is in the Upside Down. Within a few minutes or whatever, I don't know, she finds her way to a gate where she uses her powers to kind of break through, and she's back in the school.
Would you panic if you found yourself in the Upside Down all by yourself and everyone else is not there?
Yeah, I think, and if I didn't have any kind of, psychokinetic powers, yeah, I'd be a little upset.
Right. So we see her come out, right, and then she kind of we kind of see how she's, that flashes back, and we see her with a sheet over her head, right? She's got the eyes cut out, she's wanting to be a ghost, and she's trying to convince Hopper that she should be able to go out and do some trick-or-treating.
That's right.
And,
And of course, as any good father says, he says no.
Well, right, because he's trying to protect her, right? He's saying that there's people that would be after her, and she's just looking for a costume that's not going to be seen. So she tries to go as a ghost, which I find really funny because it leads right into what the boys are going for Halloween.
Well, and I love the ode to E.T., right? He looks just like E.T., trying to get E.T. with Gertie, So yes, so the boys dressed up as none other than the Ghostbusters. That's right, man. The Ghostbusters. What
did you think of the little photo shoots with the mom, like Dustin's mom?
What I love the best is the kid's sister. What's her name? Dang it, Rudy Huxtable. Yeah. Whatever. She's like, nerd, when he's getting his picture taken. Right. Loved it. So they go to school. They get off the bus, and what I love the best is Dustin turns around. He's like, and he's got this look in his eyes, like he's seen the monster as well. And he's like, guys, and you think it's this really serious thing, and then he's like, nobody else dressed up, and you see him, all these kids are getting off the bus and they're the only ones dressed up.
That's like the modern day version of having that weird dream where you go to school naked and everyone looks at you and laughs and points.
Exactly.
But except for a kid though, right?
Exactly. Yes. Yeah. So they're in school, walking up in the halls, and it's a funny exchange where everybody's like, "Oh my gosh!"
And I love that they find that Mad Max girl, right? And they want to go up and they want to talk to her, but she even calls them out and says are you guys the only ones that are dressed up? So you guys look like freaks or something like that, right?
And there's two Venkmans, by the way. Yeah. Nobody wants to be Winston.
Right. Because he's the bad Ghostbuster that joins them later.
Yeah, he's not a scientist. Not even a scientist. Anyway, so we get back into the kind of the relationship between Joyce and Hopper. They're talking about what's going on with Will. Obviously, she's worried. They're talking about the good old days and about kind of what the scientists said in episode 1 about, kind of just seeing how things play out. And these are just flashbacks. Everything's fine.
And then they start talking about remember smoking under the bleachers or in the hallway or something. Do you wonder if those two ever had something going back in the day?
Oh, definitely.
There was
a little too chummy, I think.
Right. Okay, so we get back into the Hawkins Lab, National Laboratory, and we see these guys in the hazmat suits again, going back in and burning stuff down in the Upside Down. They're trying to it looks like they're trying to keep the Upside Down from coming back into the real world. What do you think, Steve? I mean, is this barbecuing method going to do the job? I mean, it seems like they're having to do this a few times now.
Yeah, I don't think so. And I think that we see that Dr. Owens is a little concerned. So I think the scientists are not winning the battle, and they're basically plumbers with flamethrowers. Don't think it's working. The leaking is happening.
Plumbers with flamethrowers. I must look into that career.
Okay, all right, so we get back to Nancy is still reeling from the death of her best friend. They end up going to after the dinner, I guess, at Barb's parents' house. Steve and Nancy have a conversation where she basically says, "I can't handle it anymore. I can't live this lie."
Right, and then Steve tries to I don't know if he's just trying to comfort her or just trying to get her to do something else and not think about it, but he's trying to convince her they need to be normal kids and go to a party. Do you think them hanging around with other kids is a good idea?
I'm thinking not. So they end up going to the party a few scenes later, and you can see that Nancy's pretty upset still. So she kind of goes over the deep end. She drinks too much, and then she says some things to Steve that hard but true.
True. I mean, like you can tell, like he's having a hard time. Like she's like ripping his heart out because he truly loves her, and I think she kind of looks at him as like, yeah, maybe I used to think he was kind of hot stuff, but now I'm realizing maybe not so much. But here's the funny thing: in that scene, in that like that party scene, don't we get to see the new bad boy, whatever, Billy? Like, doesn't he come in and like, oh, you're the King Harrington dude, like, you know, like trying to like size him up, like this is now my kingdom, kind of like this mano a mano battle of wills.
That's right. Now we also see Jonathan, based on Nancy's invitation, comes to the party as well. And that actually is fortuitous because after Steve leaves, after the spat between Nancy, Jonathan is the one to take her home.
And take her home he does. But unfortunately not in like any weird or creepy way. He just takes her home and like takes her boots off and, you know, gets her there, right? Gets her home. He's a nice guy. Right. We got to like Jonathan, right?
Hey, he likes like, you know, the Depeche Mode and all that. He's got some good taste in music.
The
Clash,
yeah. He's a good kid. Okay, so we do see 11. They're kind of still following on her flashback. I got to say, the part where like you see the little squirrel and then the squirrel just like flies through the air and smashes into the tree and is dead. I was like, this is a perfect way to use your powers, 11. This is awesome.
Killing squirrels. I don't need a BB gun anymore. Yeah, so she ends up stealing a jack and a hat from some guy in the woods and tries to kind of make her way. And that's, I think, when we finally catch up with the pea green cooler that Hopper has been leaving Eggos in the woods for her.
Right. Because everyone knows that if you have a little girl who has psychic or psionic powers, you leave Eggo waffles in the forest for her.
Absolutely. I mean, absolutely.
It's the way to get it done. Hopper's looking into the pumpkin, Steve. Apparently, like, it's not just this one guy who has a pumpkin patch. All the pumpkins, trees, like all these things are starting to look, it looks like they're starting to decay and rot, but like they have some maggots on it. Did you catch on to that?
It was almost like, first Ghostbusters, like Slimer had like a party there and all of his friends were invited. Yeah, the trees have slime on them, and I think Hopper has a sneaking suspicion that this isn't just a bad patch of pumpkins.
Right. They jump back over to the house and we see Will and Jonathan Byers. And like, here's the cool thing. Like, I love Bob in episode 2 that we just watched. Like, he's not like the kid's dad, but like he's dating their mom and he's like trying to be friendly.
He's trying.
He is. He's trying. Yeah. But he's wearing this like vampire outfit that like looks like a vampire outfit I think I went as a kid. But it just looked to me like a little, I don't even know what the word is, like almost a little too suave, like the way he had his hair combed. It looked like he was like trying to be like a sexy Bob vampire.
Amen to that. So while the boys are out, so Bob is back trying to woo Joyce. The boys are out. Suddenly, out of the bushes jumps Michael Myers. Mad Max is in a. That was freaky. Man. Anything Michael Myers.
What do you think? Is she gonna be part of their group? Is she gonna like fit in, or do you think this is going to be like
there's going to be some friction. I think there's going to be some friction, especially because, and we already start to see it, where Mike is still missing 11, and he's not ready to accept another girl into the party.
Yeah, I did like the Mike Myers thing. Like that was a little freaky because then, like shortly after that, we see like some kids jump out and scare like Will, right?
Right.
And he's got that camera that he's kind of holding, and he ends up dropping, and then he ends up going into this thing where he starts seeing the upside down again, like in his like waking, like I don't know, waking dreams is the right word, but like
right,
kind of like
this is not a flashback
life.
Though. This is not a flashback. So he runs from it, he hides from it, but you can see the smoke, almost like a lost smoke monster is looking for him.
Right. So I mean, I don't know what's going on. Hopper told 11 he was going to come back, like earlier in the episode, and this dude's married to his job, right? I mean, he's going on, and I like that he tries to message her and uses Morse code. I haven't used Morse code like since Boy Scouts, but I was like, man, I gotta brush up on my Morse code. I want to know if they're actually sending like real messages, or if he's like, hey, 11, what's up, yo? Like something like that you're not going to get unless you actually
version
look
of
it
a
up.
Text back in the 80s. Yes,
it's an Easter egg. I'm wondering if that's that's going
So
on there.
so she's waiting, and obviously, she's waiting and waiting and waiting. He is, still at the pumpkin patch, I think, marking off with flags, trying to follow the trail. And he gets home really late. What's funny though is I love that he's like, "Hey kid, how much for that bag of candy?" And he has to pay some kid like $50 to like get his candy.
Right.
So he brings it back. She's of course mad in her room, and so he tries to get her to come out by saying, "Okay, I'm gonna eat this and get fat. I could have a heart attack."
So right at the very, very end of this thing, Dustin's going home. He starts hearing this like weird chirping, this like sound, and like his trash can rattles. And then of course, like he like opens it up with a stick, and you see the camera perspective from the bottom of the can looking up and seeing his face. What do you think is in that trash can? What is making that noise?
It's probably a squirrel that is hiding from 11 because it's afraid it's going to get thrown against a tree and eaten.
It's looking out for its own self. I like that.
That's right. That's right.
I don't know what's going on, but it's making weird sounds. And
Doesn't
in
sound
Hawkins, anything making weird sounds, and with Will seeing the upside down kind of going on in real life. I mean, there's stuff going on there. I can't wait. Let's go watch episode 3, Steve. And that is our 11 minute.